What's up, good people? Welcome to the Bro Code Show. It's your boy Bro Troy, Mr. YM4C, but better known as Coach TJ. And tonight is the first night of our two-part series on the topic Health is Wealth. Now, tonight we'll recap last month's conversation topic, the hustler spirit, and begin diving into this month's conversation, Health is Wealth. This month we'll chop it up with guests about COVID-19, fitness, and cancers in the body. Now, first and foremost, tonight's show is sponsored by the Barbershop. Shout out to Reggie Winston, owner of the Barbershop, located at 4551 New Bern Avenue, Suite 180 in Raleigh, North Carolina. Now, check out the Barbershop for all your premier grooming services. And please don't forget to ask about their monthly memberships to save you both time and money. Now, for those who are new to the Bro Code Show, Bro Code shows are live talk shows created to discuss, uncover, justify, and dismantle the issues that concern us most as brothers, as family, and as a community. And we like to give that to you raw, uncut, and real respectful. Now, our greatest desire is to embrace everyone in positive, popular conversation. So no, we're not in the business of bashing or belittling anyone, but we do believe in being comfortable with having uncomfortable conversations, because that's where understanding starts. So as grandma would say, let's chew the meat and spit out the bone. Real quick, housekeeping things. For those that are on YouTube right now, thank you. If you're not, please go to YM4C TV, hit like, subscribe, and the notification button. Please help us continue to grow our audience so that everyone can be involved in these courageous conversations. For those that love IG, go to @BroCodeShow and help us build our audience and also keep up with the great, courageous conversations that we're having monthly. So, fellas, man, talk to me, man. You know, it's my birthday weekend, man. As you can see, I'm offset, shirts off, but we're gonna make it happen, man. JC, what's good, man? What's the word, bro?
Oh man, it's been a pretty good week, man. You know, you had the NFL draft for one that kicked off Thursday, where my Giants, I think, had the best draft of everybody and picked up some pretty good players, despite the Eagles and Cowboys trying to get in our way.
Yeah.
And Saturday, man, I had a chance to catch up with some of our brethren from the King movement, to where, I had about 8-9 folks came to the house. We had a little mini cookout safely, of course, and really got a chance to connect as brothers on some issues that have been really hitting the social consciousness of America. I had some pretty cool and tough conversations. And so I'm still on a high from it and looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, indeed, man. Shout out to Lafayette, man, the brothers from the King movement. Sorry I couldn't be there, man. But, I love y'all like cook food. So I certainly look forward to the next one too, man. Kirk, what's good, bro?
Hey, man. It was a good week. Troy, first of all, happy birthday. I see you down there posting, got your Superman t-shirt on, doing your beach thing with the family, man. Shout out to you. Seriously, though. I know it's been a long year, man. You do a lot. We appreciate you. It has been a great week. I've been out and about, and I feel a collective consciousness of people seem to be kind of loosening up. That's the feeling I got when I was out. So, I hope it continues. As Jay said, there's a lot of conversation that needs to be had. So I'm excited to see what's coming, man.
Yeah, indeed, man. I appreciate that, man. Always good to be loved, feel loved, and kind of reciprocate the same things that you put out, man. So it's certainly like a boomerang, and I felt that all weekend, man. So I'm gratefully appreciative of all those that reached out to say, "What up, Troy? Happy birthday!" Make the old man feel good. So, nonetheless, man, we can never do anything alone. At least nothing great comes on alone. So we got a few guests tonight, man, but before we do that, I want to chop it up just a little bit about the conversation that we had last month. Like last month, we talked about this thing called the hustler spirit, the mindset that it takes to continue to persevere, even through adversity. We had an opportunity to talk with Reggie Winston, man. Shout out to my man, Reggie, Maggie Kane at a place at the table. And then, of course, Lori from Blackology Coffee. And then, of course, Morgan Cook. The man, the myth, and the legend, the graffiti, he's the graffiti's artist, right? So I love to hear you guys' thoughts, man. Like Kirk, what did you think about the conversation with Reggie and Maggie?
First of all, I loved it. And it hit me a little bit different because I know both of them. Like we have personal relationships. And while I was doing this corporate thing, those were two of the first people that I really connected with about community. And so hearing them both talk and tell their stories, if you remember, they have a shared love for other people. And they understand that you cannot be successful in your business without, giving credit and having the team around you. So great conversation with both of them.
Yeah, man. They both multiple times shared having a heart for people, right? And in any type of business or any type of service, that's what makes it go, is the people. So yeah, keeping that in mind and also reflecting on that in anything that we do, and having that heart of a servant, man, is definitely a key component, man. JC, I'm curious, man. We talked with Lori as well as Mr. Morgan.
Yep.
What were your thoughts on that?
Well, it was real interesting how both highlighted how they were able to venture out on their own, whether it be because of the impact of COVID or just feeling dissatisfied with what they were doing. They both had the gumption to basically walk in their purpose and look for opportunities that would not just help them, but help their community. I'm also excited for Lori as she's getting closer and closer to, really realizing that vision of having the Black Starbucks, and with Morgan, it was real neat to see him go from the show to actually putting it in practice and painting, spray painting the YMC van, and essentially turning it into a work of art with more to come. Now, unfortunately, that van was a work of art for the highway as it stalled out this past weekend. So everybody got to see it in passing, but it was neat to see the kids excited about it and get a chance to tag something professionally.
Yeah. If I could add to that, not just a piece of art, but a one of one, the original. There shall never be another. So, with that being said, man, I'm glad to know that one of one is something that we can use to walk in our purpose, which is to spark creative mindsets in young people. And I share those same sentiments as you do, Jay. So, nonetheless, man, let's get this party started, man. So, first and foremost, we have a couple guests tonight. We want to introduce them to the show and start layering the conversation on this topic: health is wealth. First and foremost, we have my man Aaron Hairston, man. Aaron is a former professional athlete. Now, after his career ended with injury, Aaron started his journey in engineering. Like those who are called to something greater, Aaron felt unfulfilled. Now, Aaron began a new journey with health and fitness. And during this journey, Aaron released 16% body fat, built 14 pounds of muscle, and created the best health he had ever had. Now, Aaron uses his testimony to encourage and inspire others to find their path to a healthier lifestyle. So I introduce to some and present to others my man, Aaron Hairston. Aaron, what's good, bro?
What's going on, gentlemen? Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm honored and I am so blessed to be surrounded by great people, man. So thank you.
Indeed. No, we got to say it, man. Ball head greatness, baby.
Let's go, baby.
Aaron, I don't know what it is. Light attracts light, but it never fails. At least one conversation a month. It ends up just like this, man. So we just go keep that theme going, bro. But I'm curious, Aaron, for the people listening, man, who is Aaron Hairston at the core? What makes you, bro?
Man, I'm obedient to God. I do whatever He tells me to do. And sometimes it doesn't make perfect sense to me, but I'm only a human going through a spiritual going through a human experience, right? So I think first and foremost, I'm the follower of the Lord. I put Him in the middle of everything I do, and I'm growing. And I believe in now. I believe in now, what we can control now, and most importantly, taking 100% responsibility for my life. So encouraging people to do so, leading by example.
Indeed, man. Obedience will always be greater than sacrifice, man. I can dig that, one day at a time. So we also have Miss Joleen Andrews. Now, Joleen Andrews has worked as a licensed occupational therapist in North Carolina for over 19 years. She received her Bachelor's of Science degree in occupational therapy from Winston-Salem State University. Her work experiences include acute care, outpatient care, skilled nursing and assisted living facilities, and home health care. Now, Joleen is a strong advocate for elderly aging in place and geriatric wellness. She is the founder and owner of Complete Care Connections LLC. Most recently, she became involved as an advocate on educating the community on the importance of vaccinations to decrease the spread of COVID-19 virus and how to reduce mortality rates. Joleen is passionate about educating and bringing awareness to the African American community in hopes of decreasing the statistical disparities of mortality rates in the Black community. Again, I introduce to some and I present to others. Miss Joleen Andrews. What's up, Joleen? How you feeling?
Hey, I'm good. I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Indeed, man, indeed. Well, hey, we feel the same way. But for those that are listening, Joleen, that may not know about just how blessed you are, tell them, what makes you you? Who is Joleen Andrews at the core?
Well, I hail from the beautiful island of St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, and moved up here to North Carolina, Winston-Salem, and met a guy, and then I stayed. And so I practice occupational therapy, and I would think that I'm compassionate. Compassion is a huge thing, and of course, God is in my life, and that is how I run my life. But compassion, helping people, loving people. So I've always been attracted to the elderly population, and so therefore I use my compassion in that way to help them.
I love it. I love it. And Aaron is over here triple tasking, man. He's over here writing comments. I don't know who Bill is, but what's up, Bill? I appreciate you joining too. But let's get this conversation started, man. Good stuff. I appreciate you guys joining us tonight too. JC, what you got, bro?
Yeah, so it's been a blast talking to so many people over the past month who truly embody that hustler spirit and are committed to helping others. Knowing how to make and manage money and build your own wealth is very important. But without that healthy lifestyle, key factors enabling you to achieve success can be sorely affected. Health is wealth because without it, we're nothing. Now, over the course of the last 2 years, a spotlight has been focused on our physical and mental health, partly due to the COVID crisis. Concerns about the impact of obesity have taken on new dimensions this year, as having obesity is one of the underlying health conditions associated with the more serious consequences of COVID infection, including hospitalization and death. I had a chance to look at some stats just based off of where the U.S. lies, and compared to peer nations, the U.S. has among the highest number of hospitalizations from preventable causes and the highest rate of avoidable deaths. We spend more on healthcare as a share of the economy than nearly twice as much the average country. Yet we have the lowest life expectancy and the highest suicide rates among the 11 large nations. Now, I admit that it is very difficult to maintain a healthy lifestyle, whether we're in the midst of a COVID crisis or not. But health is an investment, and while taking good care of our health can be challenging, we have to. For example, physical activity and exercise can have immediate and long-term benefits that can improve the quality of life. And various studies even show that it's never too late to get fit. And it's probably more important for those that are 50 plus to maintain that momentum as the human body responds to exercise no matter what its age. I want to jump into a question for our fitness guru, the man who transformed his body. I'm curious if you could tell us a little bit more about your experiences and more specifically, what started you on the journey of health and fitness?
Well, thank you, JC. It's a decision. It really is a decision. After I blew out my ACL and PCL and lost the dream of going to the NFL Hall of Fame, I had a decision to make, right? And I'm sitting on my couch and I'm going through it. And I'm thinking like, darn, man, I was right there. I was right there, man. I worked so hard and through all the adversities of life, I was right there. And I remember the conversation that I had with the offensive coordinator with the Giants. And, he was like, hey, listen, we're ready to bring you in, man. There's just a few things you need to do. And I was getting them done, playing on arena teams. And here I was at a crossroads and I had a great support system. And the first one was the Lord, praying and really being grounded that he made the decision that I was going in a different direction. And it was just now up to me to accept that fact and to embrace that I'm moving forward. And then having my wife, who I met when I was 18, and we've been together, we're both 43 now. She was there, right? And she had seen me go through all the different stages. And I remember clearly sitting on the couch and feeling sorry for myself. And she saying, hey, listen, you better get your butt up off that couch. You ain't just going to sit there and feel sorry for yourself. Like, like move on. And I think that was the breaking point for me, to realize that I needed to listen outside of me, because me was broken. I was broken. And although I wasn't able to lift weights and run and train and really perform at the level that I was accustomed to, there was a difference. And it had to be what I was putting in my body. And I needed to be educated about how my body was working, because I had always heard the phrase, we are what we eat, but I really didn't understand it. And once I dove into health and wellness and understood how our body is performing on a day-to-day basis based on the fuel we put in our body, I started to really fall in love and become obsessed. And that's really the key word there. I became obsessed with understanding how to become the best version of me. And then I heard the phrase along the journey, if I don't take care of my body, then where else am I going to live? Right. And that to me really hit home. And so I made a decision. I became committed, and I just surrounded myself with people that can educate me on things that I was so eager to learn.
Well, I know the Giants certainly could have used you. It's been a rough decade or so, but we certainly could have used your prowess for a few more years there. But I'm glad everything worked out for you as it needed to. Joleen, how about yourself? Can you tell us a little bit more about your experiences and how you gained a passion for serving the elderly?
Yes. So ever since I've been a little girl, I sat up under the elderly, and my mother always said, you were going to work with older people. And so going through occupational therapy, I thought I wanted to work with pediatrics, but that didn't work out very well. So when I got with the elderly people, I mean, they're fun to be with. You find that you get to learn a lot from them, some good, some bad, but within all of that, there is wisdom. You pick up wisdom along the way. And just being able to help them and see them open up and smile when you teach them new skills or help them to accomplish things that they want to be able to accomplish, such as their self-care. We do a lot of self-care, strengthening, mobility, and things that help them go back home when they're in a situation like at a skilled nursing facility where they may be feeling a little bit of hopelessness or feeling like they may not be able to get back to their independence, and being able to aid and assist them in getting to that point. And so with my company, it is my passion to keep them home as long as possible. And the way we do that is modifying their homes so that it's safer, or connecting the people with services out in the community that will assist them in staying home as long as possible. Because I find that they thrive better at home versus the facilities, not knocking any facilities, but I just see that when they're there, that hope of quality of life diminishes. Autonomy and independence, all of that kind of just is reduced. And it's really sad to see. And so I just really want to help people stay home as long as possible. It's best for them.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I may have to go ahead, Kirk.
No, it's all good. So Aaron, man, this body transformation, you went from football playing to computer engineering, and then lastly, fitness guru. I would love to hear how this body transformation has changed your life. And if I could throw in there, you used the word fuel when you spoke of food. That little word shows a lot of difference in how our body responds. Can you talk about that also?
Yeah, absolutely, Kirk. So it all started back in 2011. So in 2011, I had my first child in 2009. So my wife and I were trying to figure it out. And I had a very sedentary job, right? So I was sitting there, computer, geeking out, and I loved computers, but it was a very time-consuming and committing job, right? So I was traveling a lot and working long hours, eating a lot of junk food, and I gained about 20, 30 pounds, right? So my playing weight was about 225. I was about 240. And I just bought bigger clothes, right? So I was okay. I was like, whatever, because again, the only reason I stayed in shape was to perform. So once that was gone, right, it wasn't about vanity. It wasn't about looking good. It was about performing well. And all I needed to focus on was my brain. So I just let that go. And I noticed that my energy just started to slump. And it was really apparent that I was in a different body and I was in a different mindset. And it wasn't my best. It wasn't my best. But because of my job, I was so focused on just performing and executing my career that I was letting my body go. And so my brother came to me in 2011 and said, "Hey, Aaron, listen, I found something very special. I found something that I want to get involved in, and I would love to have you join me." And he's my little brother, and he's always been that out-of-the-box thinker. He was a social worker for about 10 years, working with troubled youth. And, he was sick and tired of running through that rat race as well, because he was burnt out when he got home, emotionally, physically, and mentally. And so he was going in a different direction. He was like, "Listen, I want to start, a health and wellness gig and really, help people to understand how to get the best out of life." And I said, "Yeah, I like that. I like that." And he says, "Hey, listen, I'm flying out to Arizona to go check out a company that I want to partner with, because you know what? If we can't represent solid nutrition, then we're really just taking people's money, because we can train people all day, hour here, hour there. But if we don't take control of what they're doing without us, then they're never going to transform long term." Right. And so being a personal trainer is one thing, being a transformational specialist is another. And we needed the right tools and we needed the right resources. And so at first I told him, "Nah, I'm all set. I got a very demanding job, but I am curious in what you're going to do. So, I'll stay on, I'll stay watching, right? I'll be a spectator, for the next few months to see what you do." So he went ahead and moved forward with what he was doing. And he had great success. He ended up releasing about 25 pounds. He himself was, a very high level basketball player, had some knee injuries as well, like I did. And so that ended his career. And so he got sedentary. And so he was able to release those 25 pounds. And that really kind of shocked me, because I was like, wow, how did you do that? And he said, "Listen, man," he goes, "I found something special." And said, "All right, listen, all right. You got my curiosity. What are you doing?" And so he showed me what he was doing. And I was intrigued. The company that he had partnered with from the nutritional space was very, 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 very focused on being ahead of whatever's out there, really innovative and really coming from a cellular point, right? Helping the cells to develop, because our bodies are building cells every day, and our cells are reliant on what we're eating, what we're breathing, right? How we're managing toxicity, how are we managing what our body goes through, stress, emotional stress, all that stuff. And so I was really impressed on what he found. And so I dove in and started becoming educated. And so I used the systems. I followed the routines. I jumped into this thing called the Ice Body Challenge. It was like a 16-week challenge, and I crushed it. I crushed it because, the type of person I am, like if I get excited about something, I'm all in, right? I am all in, because at this point in my life, if it comes to my life, it's something that God presented to me, right? So who am I to say that, I can, half execute, half think about it, no analysis, paralysis by analysis. So I was like, listen, I'm all in. So I jumped all in. And it's funny kind of how things work out, right? The Lord always presents great opportunities, and most of them very, very scary, right? So my brother goes, "Listen, we're going to go into bodybuilding, bro. We're going to go crush it. We're going to put these nutrition products to the test, and we're going to do it." And I'm looking at him like, "Dude, hold on a second. Time out. You went from helping me eat healthy to get me on stage, bodybuilding and flexing naked." I said, "Listen, bro," I said, "this is well out of my comfort zone. And I'm feeling a little overwhelmed." He said, "Listen, just trust me. Just trust me." And I'm like, "All right, I'll trust you. So we did it. We jumped on stage, used the 16 weeks to transform, followed the rules, and I dropped it, man. I lost 40 pounds and 16% body fat, 14 pounds of muscle, 205 on stage, shredded, man. I won the world championship, dude, and it was crazy. And I look back at that moment because it was really a game changer for me, because at that point I realized that this temple that the Lord gave me is my responsibility to take care of. And what I had learned in regards to detoxifying cells and helping the body to take care of free radicals, and just taking care of our skin, and just taking care of the fuel we put in our bodies, it just really made sense to me. And so I ran with it, and I was able to in the first 3 years build a business with it. And I was able to replace my 6-figure income from computers and really be able to do this full time. Walked away from that in 2015. And for the last 10 years, man, I've been rocking this thing and just walking and talking about what I experienced and helping people to find within themselves what it is that really they want, what they want to feel like, and being able to get back to, feeling good again about who they are in the mirror, because once we feel that way, everything we do, we're going to perform at a higher level, man. That confidence goes through the roof and we show up, we show up and we know that we're on purpose. And so exactly, my why is now walking into what it is that the Lord has developed and realizing that the hardships that I occurred along the way were just testimonies, or they were just stepping stones, man. And, now I'm just taking it step by step. And although what I did is not typical, right? I was able to take a professional football body, and someone who's trained since he was 9 years old at a very high level to taking it into just lifestyle, where I still have a 20% disability in my knee. So I can't do a lot of the things that I used to do, sprinting, jumping, twisting, turning. But I found that 80% of what we do in our health is what we eat, man. And so having the right resources, having the right people in place, I can educate people about what it is that I have, and then, let them chew on it for a little bit. And if they want to roll, then we roll, we link arms together, and we work together, helping inspire other people.
So thank you for that. One thing you said is I had to make a decision. And I love that one thing. I have to make a decision and have that why. So as we jump into what you do, Complete Care Connections, would love to hear what kind of services you offer the elderly.
So connecting people with therapy services. Currently, I just started working with a hospice company, and that's been different for me because normally we rehabilitate people to gain their strength so they can go home. But these people, they're in a different state, but still they're seeking quality of life even during this time in their life where they have a terminal illness. So a lot of education to the families on transfer techniques, how to deal with the disease process and safety in the homes. So connecting people with my company, connecting them with services out in the community. So whether it's a hospice service or other physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech therapists, whatever they need, sometimes it may be contractors to modify homes, widen doorways, build ramps, provide equipment for bathrooms so that they are able to take a shower because of mobility and aging. They're sometimes not able to get in safely and do a shower. Different types of beds, different type of flooring, so many things you can do to modify the home to make it safer for them so that they can stay home.
So thank you for that. And I think we sometimes take it for granted what our elderly people need just to function and live. My grandmother's 94 and she is hell bent. Sorry, excuse the language. Y'all not taking me from my house. And it's a family issue. So I can really appreciate what you're saying.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Troy,
that's right. Mm-hmm.
Good
Troy,
stuff. Thank you for that, Joleen. Kirk, I appreciate that, man. I share those same sentiments. You guys hear me talk about my grandfather all the time. We call him the mayor, right? Because he run everything. But he's 101. And from his prowess, and as we call ourselves go-getters, I look at that as himself too. You couldn't tell, but you're right, man. He's hell bent. He's not leaving the house. If he gonna leave, he gonna leave right here. So, or when he leaves, how about that? So, I could dig that. But it takes a special heart, Joleen. It really does. Patience, all that good stuff. So, I really do. I really admire.
Well, they're great, and we too will be old. If the good Lord blesses us, and so to piggyback off of taking care of our temples and that too, the whole wellness piece, teaching them how to eat better, changing their diet so they can stay here longer and enjoy life, the quality of life. No one wants to suffer with diabetes. Our population, our community suffers with diabetes, hypertension, strokes, and all these things that's just attached to African Americans or Latinos. It's just, if we can change a few things, it's not hard. Just change a few things. It will help. And so the whole wellness with mobility, exercising, light exercises. But I always say, I'm too old for this. That's not true. That's not true. We modify our exercises and we see results. So, it's important. It's our right to stay home. When we get into these facilities, it quickly, you see the hopelessness just seep in very quickly. And so, but when they're home, they have hope.
Yeah.
And if we could just modify their environment, provide the services, whether it's CNA care or a sitter, and these things all get expensive. But I'm working on another piece with that. But hopefully, if we can keep them home, it's just dignity and quality of life is what we need, is what we deserve.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. What I love about it, everybody on this call is a hope dealer, right? That's what the world is missing. So for you to be the one to say, hey, even though that we go through, we're wanting to give that and have that sense of fulfillment and that sense of hope for others, man. I think that's really dope. So if you guys are just listening, or for anyone who's listening right now, you're checking in with the Bro Coach Show. We got Bro Smith, Bro Kirk, and Bro Troy. And we are on the line with Miss Joleen Andrews, rock star occupational therapist. She's also a geriatric whisperer. And then we also got my main man, Aaron Hairston, man. Aaron is he's a rock star and is all by himself, man. We talk about a Powerball, man. Like, I understand the weight loss journey to a certain degree. Now, I'm not getting on stage doing any type of bodybuilding, but I can definitely understand where it comes with putting that in and making that choice and saying, man, I want this. And come hell or high water, this is what I'm going to do, man. So I can dig that, bro. I really can. So we're going to take a real quick commercial break. We got to pay the bills, and we will be right back here on the Bro Code Show.
Are you looking for a barbershop that provides luxury grooming services in a safe, clean environment, and that also gives back to the community? Well, look no further. The Barber Shop is the place for you. We're currently looking for new members. We have a location here in Raleigh, and we have a future location coming soon in Wake Forest, North Carolina. If you'd like to be a member or just give us the opportunity to serve you, please visit our website, thebarbershopnc.com. See you soon.
All right. It's Bro Troy back here with the Bro Code Show, and we are chopping it up about health is wealth. Now, Aaron, I was looking at your IG, bro, and you are a ball of energy, bro. Like, man, I mean, every morning without fail. And for those who haven't done that, please go to his LinkedIn at Aaron Hairston, man. If you want your morning motivation, please check him out. But I saw on your IG, bro, it had a quote. It said, when you stop chasing the wrong things, you give the right things a chance to catch up. Now, Aaron, as a purpose-driven person, now for me, that hit a little different. But can you tell us how that has manifested in your life with the work that you do?
Well, I really started studying about how I respond in life. And I had heard a quote through my journey about either being a thermometer or a thermostat, right? And, for my life, I was always taught to react and react well. As an athlete, we don't know what the other person is doing. And so it's more of reaction, unconscious reaction versus responding, really, because there isn't much information. I mean, once you start to get into professional ball, yeah, you can study film, you can study strategic, strategies and game plans. But in life, it's hard to do that. It's really hard to do that. And so I first had to understand how to process the information that I was given each day. And I read a book by Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. And it helped me to realize that that's all that matters. It's like right now, how am I listening to what I'm listening to, right? Because in our minds, it's always processing information. Everything is brand new. Everything is now, right? And I was reading another book, A Pocket Full of Money. So if you haven't read that book, that's a really powerful book as well. But it talks about, in the 3rd chapter, about time and how it really doesn't exist, right? Time is really just an emotion. And when I started to read these things, I started looking at things a little differently. And so when I woke up in the morning, I would ask the Lord, okay, Lord, help me to translate a little better today, right? Help me to interpret things a little better today. And that's really what I'm doing is becoming a filter of information, just like we're sifting for gold and, we're allowing certain things to fall through and then we're seeing what it is that we're really looking for. And so there was a last quote that I'll share. It's when you stop focusing on what you don't want, when you stop focusing on what you do want, what you don't want immediately shows up. And so what happens a lot of times in life is that we'll make a decision and then all of a sudden we're given the opportunity to grow to support that decision. But we look at those things as, mountains and, and challenges and we get fear, right? We get fear, it sets in and it starts to have that doubt. And that's what it's there for. It's there to build and support. It's just like when you build a large structure, you got to have a foundation. But what happens during that process of that foundation is you're going to run into some roots. You're going to run into some unforeseen things and you've got to break through. You have to break through. And so teaching people how to be more of a thermostat than a thermometer has been really a great mission of mine, because it really doesn't matter what you've done before. It just matters what you're doing now and what tools you're using going forward. And so being a better interpreter of what life's giving you, to give you the clues and to give you the understanding of kind of what you've learned so far and kind of understanding. That's where all that stems from, Troy. And I'm constantly learning, I'm constantly reading. And I never was a big reader. And it was a lot going back to when I was younger. I had, comprehension issues. I was in special ed and stuff till 4th grade. And I just had a hard time comprehending. My mind was always racing. But once I got clear about what this could mean, if I really understood more about who I was, who is Aaron Hairston, not the athlete, not the father, not the husband, not the brother, not the son, like, who am I? Like, who am I? That had a lot to do with my motivation behind it, because I no longer wanted to be a result of what others wanted me to be. I wanted to understand who God made me, because I was the gift, right? The Lord made my life possible. So at that point, I wanted to figure out what it was, but the only way I could be is if I was present, and I need to understand what that meant. So that's kind of where all that stems from.
Let me follow up on that real quick, because at least for me, it's well, let me take a step back. So to form a habit, they say it takes anywhere between like 254 days essentially, but
10,000 hours.
10,000 hours. It could be broken, just like that. What advice would you give for folks that are struggling with that consistency and building up those habits and making it through some of those barriers that you spoke of?
Oh, forgiveness, man. Forgiveness. You got to forgive yourself, right? I mean, the Lord gave us something so special. He said forgiveness. Said forgiveness. And we think about forgiving others, but we never think about forgiving ourselves. I mean, we got to be better. We got to be better to ourselves. And we get real hard. We forget that we'll never be perfect. So why are we seeking perfection? Right? We may have a plan. And the interesting thing is we all heard the phrase, right? We have a plan and the Lord thinks that's funny, right? It's like, ha, ha, ha. I think it's funny. But the interesting about that is that my father taught me something when I was younger, and I didn't understand it until I became older and started adulting. He said, you know what, son, life is about adjusting, readjusting, and adjusting again. And when you understand that, son, you'll get it. And so anytime I find myself in a challenge or I find myself in a problem, I react, right? Like most humans do. We have emotions, we have feelings, right? And that's who we are. We're not perfect. We're going to do things. However, when I notice that, because I've worked so hard on becoming a thermostat, it's just like when it gets hot, the AC comes on. I notice my triggers because I'm aware of my triggers. And so forgive yourself and be aware. Be aware of how you're responding. Most conversations and arguments are a reflection of you not listening and just reacting. If you just take a pause and just listen to what's going on, the information is going to be given to you so that you can make an educated decision, right? And so just being forgiving that you're not going to always react, in the proper manner, but you're going to get better every time because you're aware of it. So be aware of the way that you're showing up, be aware of the way you're responding to things, and decide to be a thermostat. Decide to set the tone of how you're going to react. I'm going to stay calm. I'm going to stay composed. I'm going to stay aware. I'm going to listen more. I'm going to talk less, and I'm going to absorb the information. And then I'm gonna go to the master. I'm gonna say, Lord, this is getting heavy. I got a lot of stuff on my plate. Lord, help me to sort and sift through what it is I need to focus on first, and be forgiving to yourself, because you're gonna make mistakes. But that's where we grow. That's where we develop. And so understanding that has helped me to not get overwhelmed and stressed out when I fail, but be encouraged that that's the time to learn.
I love it. I love it. I want to hit on one thing, man. I once heard, and I've echoed before, Aaron, that excellence is a fallacy. Excuse me, perfection is a fallacy, but excellence is obtainable. Right? Parts of us are excellence, and it's in that excellence that we give back and we get better. So I gotta shout out your fan club real quick, Aaron. We got my man S. Clark. I don't know who S. Clark is, but shout out to my man S. Clark. S. Clark says, "All right, Aaron, you flexing." So you got the Netflix on. It's looking slow around here. So we also, S. Clark said, when you stop chasing the wrong things, you give the right things a chance to catch up. Got to remember that. Yeah, that was definitely something that when I read it, I put in my back pocket, my knowledge pocket, man. I could dig that. I think we got, what up, Kate? Kate is in the house. Kate said you have to love and forgive yourself first.
Amen.
I definitely can dig that. So, Joleen, I'm curious. I know that we love our elderly. That is your passion, but you're also an advocate as well as a soundboard for the COVID-19 shot. And we read a little bit about that, but I'm curious, tell us more about that frontline experience with the COVID-19 shot, and how has that experience gone for you and those that you serve?
So originally when this all started, I never stopped working. I had to go out there. I never stayed home. So try to figure out there was a lot of misinformation out there, and trying to figure out all the truth about everything that we knew about infection and how to keep infection down. We had to seek PPE, trying to get N95 masks, gloves, gowns, and the whole shebang. We continued working with our population in these assisted living facilities and nursing homes, staying with all the rules, But one thing that we did notice is how it affected the elderly with the isolation. We knew that they would suffer because their family members, their loved ones could no longer visit them. So around the time when the virus started hitting the facilities and they started getting sick, and some did not make it, a lot of them did not make it. It was just very important for me at that point to make the decision. When the vaccine came about, we all were skeptical. Is it too soon? But the thing about it is they have been working on the coronavirus vaccine for a while. And so with the technology and science that we have, it was not crazy that they would be able to bring this vaccine fairly quickly. So there was a lot of controversy. No, I'm not going to get it because it's not, they're putting this in your body, and a lot of misinformation. But I thought that it really would help my community. If I'm going to live the truth of what I'm saying, I want to protect my elderly and everything, then I want to go ahead and be part of this. So I went ahead and I got vaccinated. Yes, you get a little sick, but that's just your body fighting. It means that it's working. And so it's really important to get the vaccine. It's going to help the whole herd immunity, help us get all fixed up and get out into this community. And I see it happening. I mean, most of the facilities, the residents have been vaccinated, and now we're able to not wear as much PPE. We still are protecting each other, but for the most part, you see the infection rates are going down. It's not like it used to be a couple months ago. It was rampant. Now you're not hearing so much because we're getting vaccinated.
I love it. Kirk, what you got, brother?
So, Aaron, I would love, and then Joleen, thank you for that. Real quick question though, really quick. So people are taking the vaccine, but when it comes to the other parts of health, like Aaron spoke earlier about food, what kind of message, Joleen, would you give us quickly about how that matters as much as the vaccine?
As far as COVID-19 or just
As far as
overall?
as far as
Overall health?
overall health, Black community, there's more information available. So for me now, the story of we don't know any better, we know better.
Okay.
So how do we do better?
Oh, I fight within my family, within my close community. I'm from the island, so we eat a lot of starch, and here in the South, the fat back, the grease, the frying. I mean, you can cook your food differently. So some of the things that we're eating, we can modify that. We can just, instead of ham hock, use some smoked turkey neck, and your food will still taste good. They think that you have to cook a certain way so that for the food to taste good, and it doesn't have to be that way. You can discover different types of herbs and seasonings, and try curry, try cumin, try all these different herbs that help flavor your food. But staying away from the grease, the salt, and exercise, moving. You have to move. You have to exercise. But we can do better. You can learn these things. There's I mean, if you just go on the internet, you can find many ways to modify your food. But again, it's really breaking the mindset. It's really breaking the mindset, which can be very difficult.
Aaron, I kind of want to tag team on that with you. You spoke a little bit about diets and lifestyle. I'm curious if you could elaborate a little bit more on just that and how that's played out in your life.
Yeah, it's systems. Systems. The thing about nutrition is that everybody is different, right? And there's a lot of trends. There's a lot of things that are just hyped up. And of course, things get hyped up and people jump on them and it works for a short stint, but the purpose behind them starting it wasn't right, or it wasn't clear. Let me say it's right, because we're not talking right and wrong here. We're talking clarity. You guys asked a great question and said, what would be my number one advice when it comes to people in regards to getting healthy and how it's helped me? The first thing is know what you want, right? Not because you want something that someone else has, but know what you want. Like, know what you want to feel like in the morning. Know what you want to see in the mirror. Know the type of self-talk that you want to start having. This is the way I do my business, right? I don't recommend until I understand. And so if anyone's looking for a transformation or looking for a pivot, reach out to me, right? Reach out to me so that we can have a conversation, because there's a lot of things that needs to be clear before making a decision. Because when I transformed, it was because I wasn't willing to do a short-term thing. I was willing to change my life, because my children deserve that. My family deserves that. I have two young boys, a 6-year-old and an 11-year-old. I have a wife, right? I have a mother. I have a father. I have people. I have a brother. I have two brothers, right? I have people that are depending on me to live my life, because there's certain things that only I can do, right? And so when you make that decision to get healthy, don't do it because you want to fit into an outfit. Don't do it because you want significance from other people. Do it because it's going to grow the understanding of who you are and the love that you have for yourself. Like, that's the most important thing, because that's all that matters, right? The love of yourself will never be replaced by the love of others. Never, right? That's God's love. God's love is the love that you feel for yourself. That's what it is. Okay. You can't receive love if you don't love yourself first, if you don't understand that. And so when it comes to transforming, right, we make decisions based on clarity. We make decisions that move us forward based on purpose. And so having a conversation through what have you done, where have you been, why are you here, and where do you want to go is very important. And although the transformation may not happen immediately, by asking yourself specific questions and understanding why it's so important that you make this decision will help you to show up when things get hard, because it will get hard. Anytime you try to change your life, everything that you thought to be true will show up to prove itself. And you need to be able to discredit them because the way that you've shown up so far has gotten you where you are today. And if you're not happy with where you are today, doing the same thing ain't going to get you where you want to go, right? So that's the process. And that's what helped me to understand that this is a journey, right? There really isn't much of a destination. I mean, the destination is going to change. But the thing that won't change is the way that you show up when you wake up in the morning. Are you fulfilled? Do you feel that what you're doing is purposeful? And then we start talking about money. Yes, I've built a massive business globally, helping people understand where they're going. I'm never searching for money. Money shows up with the value I provide. So I don't have to focus on that. I focus on helping people have clarity. And once you have clarity, you can help other people make clarity. And so that's how it works. And I get excited about that because if I can help someone love themselves more, if I can help someone be more excited about life in the morning and not be focused on the job that they do every day and, you know, the significance that other gives them, now I know that I help someone find themselves, and that's God's work, you know. And in regards to what I feel God's work is being able to, one, love yourself and then show how others can love themselves. And together we will, right? We will grow, we will develop, and we'll be able to overcome some of the biggest challenges and be able to see why we have to go through things, because you know what? We got to grow. And the only way you grow is through resistance.
I love it. I was talking earlier when we talk about transformation, and you know, all of us have went through our own, but one of the key words that I wrote, and I wrote it in all caps, Aaron, is I love me more.
There you go.
You know, I love me more. So I could dig that. And I think this is a great segue, man, as we wrap this conversation up. I want everybody on the call, and even those who are listening, man, to jump in on this one. And we just want to ask a very simple question, man. When we talk about something that we've heard all conversation is self-awareness. Now, the bros, we talk about that all the time, man. We believe that that is the number one gift there is, because once I feel aware of who I am, validation holds no longer any value. Because it's not about what you think or how you feel, because I understand who I am, whom I am, and whose I am. And that's a powerful space to be in. So I'm curious, man, what lessons has your work life taught you? What lessons has your work life taught you? So,
what I like and what I don't like.
Yeah.
Period.
Period. Right. Obviously we got Aaron's answer. So Joleen, I'm curious, you know, and for those that are listening, please drop it in the chat. What lessons has your work life taught
you? Regardless if you have years, if you can be 80 and life is short. And so you have to live it to its fullest. You have to live it to its fullest. So yeah.
Kirk, what do you think, brother? What life lessons has your work life taught you?
I mean, I would take a little bit of what Aaron said, you know, but he said it already. But yes, people business. We are all in the people business, and there is no self-made. First of all, coming from God, you can't be self-made. So I always laugh at that term, but we're all in the people business. Once you understand how to connect with people, communicate for connection, then you can become successful in anything you want to do.
What you think, Jay?
I knew he's gonna take my answer. I'm gonna stick with it anyway, but I'm gonna keep it short. I was gonna say networking is key. You know, there's always somebody that is doing what you think you may want to do, or doing what you know you don't want to do. The key is to have the conversation to figure it out.
Good stuff, man. I probably have to share all of those sentiments, but for the sake of time, understanding that to be able to laugh at myself first, you know, not take myself so seriously. You know, there was a lot of times in my business, and as many jobs as I've had, that Aaron spoke of at first, where it was more reactional, and you know, didn't take the time to really think first. So yeah, I think that has really taught me a whole lot. So anyway, Kirk, what you got, man? Let's wrap this thing up.
Absolutely. So just want to say, first of all, thank you to Aaron and Joleen for being our guests on the Bro Code. If I could just take away anything, Aaron, the word transformation, but living it for our family and not just being about ourselves and doing it from the inside out. Joleen, elderly people, we're all going to be elderly, and it's very important at this time, take care of our bodies and our minds and our souls and put all that things together. This conversation has been transformation in itself, and we want to thank you. The Bro Code Show.
Absolutely
Amen.
love and appreciate you guys, man. So
Thank
for
you.
those that are listening, we always appreciate you. We want you to join us next week as we'll continue this conversation on health is wealth. We'll chop it up with rock star therapist, the wonderful Jenny Ray. So join us next Sunday, May the 7th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here with the bros. Now make sure to check out our YouTube channel as Y4C TV, as well as our Instagram at Bro Coach Show for updates on all upcoming conversations. For the fellas, man, love y'all like cook food. For those who are listening, man, we appreciate you guys. Hit share and like right now to keep this conversation going. We always want to leave you guys with a positive. Tonight is no different. It says, if you don't make time for your wellness, you'll be forced to make time for your illness.
Mm-hmm.
It's your boy, bro Troy, a.k.a. Mr. Y4C, but better known as Coach TJ. And we are the Bro Code.